Oh, I said that doing impressions of Christopher Walken is very big in the Asian community.
What does that mean? Like, that's just like something they sit around doing, like, after dinner?
Well, I mean, I've seen like a bunch of videos of people of the Asian persuasion.
Let me throw my gum in there too.
People of the people of the Asian persuasion.
Yeah.
Doing.
Yeah, you looked me in the eye while you did that. Wesley crumbled up gum. We just put our gum in this paper. Wesley crumbled up, threw it in the floor. Okay, so the reality of it is you've seen some videos of Asian people doing.
I've seen lots of videos of Asian people doing it.
Okay, I thought maybe
like so much so that I said it's big in the Asian community.
That's funny. I thought you were just gonna be like, yes, like
so like an Asian guy.
Yeah, like one guy do it. You're like, oh, they love doing that. If that was the case, then we could say that they all love rubbing Nair on their assholes.
Well, there you go.
Remember that video?
I mean, we don't know that for a fact. That might actually be big in the community.
That one guy really liked doing it. He liked doing it so much that he recorded it and put it on fucking YouTube.
You know, you don't really see a whole lot of Asian people running around with a lot of hair on them anyway.
Just little hairless little fellas.
Yeah, hairless little fellas.
We've been watching a series on Netflix called Warrior.
What's it about?
It's about like I think the time period is like it's post Civil War, but it's pre turn of the century.
So like 1980s, 1990s,
or like 1880s, 1890s.
Oh yeah.
But it's about the Chinese immigrating to San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
After the railroad had been built.
Okay,
so that's kind of the time period that it takes place in. But it is. I think it's based on something that Bruce Lee had a hand in. I don't know if it's like a story he wrote or like it's a character or whatever. But it follows this one guy who he immigrates to San Francisco from China, and he like the San Francisco has like a heavy Irish population at this point in time.
Really, I didn't know that.
And well, I don't know how historically accurate it is. I think the Irish were mainly in the Northeast. I don't know how many were out west.
Like Boston was like.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
But there was a heavy Irish population, and they were not happy about the Chinese immigrants being there. Yeah. So the Chinese in the show were kind of like these second-class citizens.
Yeah.
And they all are kind of quarantined into like Chinatown, which is like this little like hovel they gave them in San Francisco, and it's very thin. It's a very thinly veiled. Conservatives don't like the immigrants coming in, taking all the work and yada yada. And they even say outright, like, you come here, you rape our women, you spread your diseases, you steal our jobs, yada yada. And I was like, okay, it's clearly
I know what's going on.
I know what's going on here. But it follows mainly it follows this one guy called Assam. And he's just
Bin Laden.
Yeah, like Assam doesn't sound like a Chinese name. But it's just him being a little ass kicker, and he beats the shit out of people, and they go to Mexico and beat the shit out of some people.
Oh, nice.
He
runs around beating the shit out of people.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's really good. It's kind of a mixture of a lot of different themes. It's kind of like a mixture of like Wild West, kung fu movie, like period piece.
It says on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and I think it's been on Netflix for a while. Or I might be wrong about that. It might be a new edition. We just kind of stumbled across it. But it's scratching my Ip Man itch.
Yeah.
Because he fights. In the first episode, I think he fights Wing Chun like Ip Man does. And of course they speak Cantonese, which is what Ip Man spoke.
Is that like accurate as far as like the timeline is concerned.
I don't know.
I thought Ip Man was like Bruce Lee trained in like under him like in the 40s, right?
Well, so the show doesn't have anything to do with Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
it's
but I'm
the
talking
characters
about, like,
are something that Bruce Lee was inspired by Bruce Lee or something like
that. But like Ip Man was like like he created Wing Chun, didn't he?
I don't know if he created it, but he was like one of the most well-known practitioners of it.
Gotcha.
And then Bruce Lee studied under him in China, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Like in Beijing or something, right?
Yeah. You know what? Maybe there was a lot of Chinese immigration to San Francisco, because I think Ip Man 4 takes place in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So maybe there is something to that.
Right.
I didn't think about it. But like that makes sense though, because they had the Chinese people build the railroads out west.
You figured that's where they'd end up.
That's where they took them, and probably when the railroad was done, they didn't really give them a ticket back home.
Right.
They just like, okay, just meander about.
Like, well, we're here.
This is where we are now. Yeah.
There's like a fat train conductor, and he went toot toot, and it went the other way. Just in reverse.
Well, time to turn it around. But yeah, it's really good. It's called Warrior. It's on Netflix. I recommend if you like fight scenes, go and watch it. And a lot of really good acting too.
No.
But yeah, it's good. It's very anti-white.
As is tradition these days.
As is tradition. But I mean, if you could kind of look past that, there's a good story there and good writing. I feel.
Yeah.
Like I said, lots of great fight scenes. However, I will say, sometimes fight scenes are like, just kind of mind-numbing. Like if they go on for a long time, you're just kind of like, when does this end?
Right.
Like. I felt that way when I watched John Wick 4 here recently. Have you seen John Wick 4?
No, I haven't even watched. So I watched the first one, and then I watched the second one.
Yeah.
Is the second one where he's like in the desert at some point?
That's the third one.
So the third one's the last one I've watched.
Yeah, that's when he's out there with Halle Berry and her dogs.
Yeah.
And the movie hit. I think that movie said Halle Berry was white.
Oh.
I don't know. She's a different ethnicity in every movie. Just whatever she needs to be. Yeah. He's out in the desert in the third one, I'm pretty sure. But we watched the fourth one. And the John Wick movies, I feel like a lot of the appeal of those movies was kind of like the choreography.
Right.
I think that especially the first one, right? Like nobody had really seen. That was fresh choreography. That was very unique choreography.
Right.
And that was really everybody's. We've seen movies where a guy goes on a revenge mission and he kills a bunch of people. We've seen that before, but the choreography is what set it apart. However, by movie 4, you're seeing John Wick do shit that he's done in 4 other movies, and you're kind of like, okay, I kind of get this. Right. Like, I get what this is. Particularly in the 4th movie, there's a scene towards the end, and I'm trying not to spoil too much, but he's fighting up a flight of steps, and it just goes and goes.
Like he's fighting on an escalator.
It's like, when is this going to end? And then, like, when you think it's over, he gets kicked and he falls down all the way to the end, to the beginning of the stairs that he just spent 10 minutes fighting up, and then he has to do it again. And I was like, I get that was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek moment, like for the director, where they're like, the movie's like, is it funny he has to do it again? Yeah. And like, I guess, but like, I have to sit through it again. Right. So I can only watch him shoot and punch people so many times.
Yeah, there's only like so many fight scenes that you can do, right? So
there's very few. If I think about it, there's very few fight scenes that stand out, right, to me that I could like think of.
One of the best that I remember was the movie Ong Bak, where he's like trying to save the elephants.
Yeah.
Where he kicks the fuck out of that guy, like in the head, and dust falls off the side of his head.
I forgot all about Ong Bak. That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I don't think they might have made a second one, but the first one was really good.
Yeah, that was a Taiwanese.
Yeah. Taiwanese. I think Taiwanese guy.
I believe so. Yeah.
Did the movie? Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really, really good. As far as the other ones come to mind, like I'm thinking, Daredevil comes to mind. the show, where they did that long tracking shot through the hallway where he's going into all the different rooms, beating people up, and like towards the end of it, he's just like winded. That one was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I can't really think of a whole lot.
One of the best ones, just because they're not like superheroes, is Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
This is like two guys.
Just two normal dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the part where he like throws the toilet off the roof.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
And then jumps onto the other guy. He like falls like 10 stories and lives because he landed on a guy. Hey, where you going? Fucking nowhere. That's maybe is one of two things is going to happen if you watch that movie. You're either going to love it, unironically, like I do, or you're going to be like, this is fucking dribble, which it is.
But it's awesome. I love it.
It's great. It's like fucking fast food.
Right.
The second one sucks.
Yeah, the second one was awful.
The second one, I feel like
it's one of those movies where, number one, it was a flop when it came out.
Yeah,
like,
it did not do
nobody
well
saw it.
in theaters. No.
And then it became a cult classic.
Right, yeah.
And then I feel like the director was trying to like recapture.
Yeah, I think he was trying to capitalize on that kind of cult classic following,
right?
Which you can't really do. It'd be like if they made The Room again,
right?
Like a Room sequel,
right? But I think the thing that really helped with, what are the two? Norman Reedus and what's the other guy's name? I always forget his name.
Sean Flannery?
Sean Flannery?
That sounds right, yeah.
Like, they were great as the main characters, but the guy that played Rocco...
Oh, yeah.
He was the guy that, like,
I think that guy's actual name is Rocco Della Rocco. I think that's his name, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, but he was the one that really sold the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't, like, the main character, but, like, he was really... He really helped move the story along. He was really, like, a catalyst.
Yeah, he really was. Like, it was kind of his fault that, like, things fell apart the way they did.
Right.
But also, like, he was just such a wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always loved that movie.
Yeah, and of course you got the scene where he, like, bangs the table.
Oh, yeah, they shoot the cat.
And the cat splatters against the wall.
Blows the cat all over the wall. He goes, is it dead? That movie is, if you watch it now, okay, look, if it's your first time watching it, watch it with subtitles.
Yeah.
Because it was Troy Duffy's the director. It was his first film, I believe.
Yeah.
And it definitely, there's a lot that betrays it as an amateur film.
Yeah.
Such as like sound design and things like that. Like there are several like things in the movie where like something will happen and then like the sound effect comes way too late, or like the dialogue is hard to understand. Plus you've got Sean Flannery, who I believe is actually Irish.
Yeah.
Heavily Irish.
Yeah.
And then Norman Reedus, who is fucking not. Yeah. Trying to do an Irish accent. And it's like you can't really understand either one of them for different reasons. But yeah, watch it with subtitles.
And I do enjoy like the fact that they played like on the fact that they were both brothers. So like the part where like they fall out of the ceiling and they're like shooting all
fighting with each other.
Yeah,
and stuff
they're like
that.
shooting all the Russian guys and they fall on the floor and start fighting with one another again.
Where they were crawling through the vents and they were arguing. He whacks him in the head with that flashlight, with that mag light.
He's like, I told you not to bring the fucking rope.
Yeah, he's like, sweat my ass off carrying your fucking rope around. Yeah, but the second movie, I felt like it tried to, it didn't understand what made the first movie so enjoyable.
Right. The first one was sort of like lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. The first one really was, I don't think Troy Duffy could have set out to make that movie on purpose.
No.
I think that a lot of what makes that movie enjoyable and gives it the fan base that it has kind of happened on accident.
Right.
but it's not fucking peak cinema by any means.
No.
But it is a good movie. I like that movie.
Well, plus that, I mean, you got Willem Dafoe in it too, so.
Yeah, he comes out of nowhere in that movie. When you think about like all his roles and everything, like you got fucking Willem Dafoe in this movie, all these other fucking no names. Yeah. Like Norman Reedus, I think he's in that, and then like the next thing I can think of him being in is fucking Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's really about it. Yeah.
Wasn't he the character design for like a video game a couple years ago?
He is in that game.
Oh,
it's literally him in the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, not story wise, like his name isn't Norman Reedus. Yeah.
It's about Norman Reedus.
Yeah, it's like a 3D complete scan of him. You know what I mean? There's a woman, I can't remember her name, but it's a black woman, and she appears in like every video game. Like people have started noticing, like, hey, this character model looks very much like another character from another game.
Yeah. And
I can't remember what her name is, but is a black woman, and she just has such distinctive features.
Yeah.
That some people are like that. They just have unique, distinctive features.
Right.
Like you would notice them in anything that they were in.
Right.
It'd be like if they scanned for Willem Dafoe, for instance.
Right.
It'd be like if they scanned him and stuck him in a video game. You'd be like, wait a second, that's just
fucking Willem Dafoe.
That's just fucking Willem Dafoe.
Well, that's what we were watching. That movie Hook. You know who plays?
What is that?
It's the one with Robin Williams, and he's Peter Pan.
Oh yeah.
You know who plays Hook in that movie? The dad from Meet the Fockers.
Robert De Niro?
No, not Robert De Niro. The other one.
I can't think.
I can't remember his fucking name.
Is it the guy with the big bushy eyebrows?
No, you're thinking of American Pie. But yeah, so
I can't think of who it is.
I mean, obviously they've got like some prosthetics on him or whatever.
Yeah.
But because I told Allison, I said that is the guy from Meet the Fockers, Ben Stiller's dad in that movie.
That guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I would have recognized him.
No. Well, I think, like I said, they put some prosthetics on him. But there's a point in that movie where he puts like some reading glasses on.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck, that is
saw him
him
straight away.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how somebody will do they'll put something on. You're like, holy fuck, I didn't realize that's who that was.
It kind of makes the Clark Kent Superman disguise a little bit more believable. Like nobody was like, for a fucking news reporter, you're built like a brick shit house. Have you ever seen that show Reacher?
I've not watched it, but I know who plays the main character.
Have you seen that guy?
Do you know?
That is a big fucking motherfucker.
You know that he used to be in a Netflix series called Blue Mountain State.
Blue Mountain State, yeah.
And I didn't realize that's because I started watching. I was like,
yeah,
is that Thad Castle?
Thad Castle? Is that his name?
That's his name in Blue Mountain State.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
I mean, because in Blue Mountain State, he was still a big guy.
Yeah, but
then,
not like he is in this show.
He's on some.
He's on some gear.
Yeah, the Trenbolone sandwiches.
I just saw somebody had posted a picture of him. I haven't seen the show.
Yeah, he's fucking yoked.
But somebody posted a picture of him on Facebook, or not Facebook, on Twitter, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this fucking guy is fucking. He's got to be 270, 280 pounds of pure muscle.
Yeah, he's fucking yoked.
His fucking forearms are like this fucking big around.
You can tell when somebody's fucking big when they've got massive forearms.
Yeah, because that's a hard muscle group to like get big like that.
Especially like I remember back in the day when they had all the big roided up baseball players when they were smacking home runs out of the park.
Did they all have big old forearms?
Mark McGuire's forearms were like that big.
I mean, like the dude's so jacked he could like flex his finger and his finger would have abs on it right here. It's fucking crazy looking. Yeah, one of the most impressive physiques I've seen on a person.
Yeah, he's yoked. That guy's big. Another guy that apparently
That's so unsustainable though. Like you can't be like that forever.
No. Well, who was it? The guy that played Superman, and then he does. What's the show there on
Ben
Netflix?
Affleck?
No, not Ben Affleck.
Played Superman.
He's also
Christopher Reeves?
No. He's also not Wolfenstein. What's the show on Netflix where he's got the long white hair?
Oh, God, why am I blanking? You're talking about The Witcher.
Yeah, The Witcher. It's the same guy.
What is that guy's name? Why am I blanking on that? Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
Henry Cavill.
I almost said Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel. Is that a real person?
Yeah.
Who is that?
That's the guy that played Jesus in The Passion of the Christ.
That sounded like a fake name. Jim Caviezel. That sounded specifically like the name of a guy who was running from the mob.
Yeah.
He got a new identity. Fucking Mr. Caviezel, huh?
His name might as well be like McLovin.
Yeah, Jim Caviezel. Wow.
I was watching the interview that they did, or it might have been Hot Ones with Michael Cera. And
I love the Hot
and
Ones.
he was talking about when they went in to do the reads for that for Superbad.
Yeah.
And how when Jonah Hill sat down and the kid that plays McLovin sat down, like the kid that plays McLovin kept cutting him off.
Really?
And it was making him mad.
Making Jonah Hill mad?
Yeah. And Jonah Hill was like, "Fuck you, dude." And they're like, "This is perfect."
Yeah, this is the chemistry we needed. Yeah. They're all so young in that movie, especially Jonah Hill.
Oh, it's crazy to go back and watch it.
Yeah. He's really young in Accepted, which is one of my favorite
he was
Comedy
in that movie,
Central movies. I love Accepted.
That is a good movie.
That's a good movie.
That one had him and
Justin Long.
Yeah. He used to be in everything.
He did. I liked him. I liked him when he was in stuff.
Yeah.
He kind of always played the same guy.
Yeah.
He was always typecast as kind of like the little wormy, like unimpressive dude.
Yeah.
But I always liked him when everything he was in. He was in Galaxy Quest.
He was, wasn't he?
He was like the young, like nerdy kid.
And he was in Dodgeball.
Yeah, he was in Dodgeball, yeah.
That's another person you don't see anymore, like, at all, is
Justin
Vince Vaughn.
Long. Oh, Vince Vaughn, yeah. Yeah, you don't really see him in.
Like, he was real big, like, for a while, like, in, like, the 2000s, like, early 2010s.
Yeah, him and Owen Wilson.
Yeah, Owen Wilson.
I think it was like Wedding Crashers happened.
Yeah, they had, like, Wedding Crashers.
Then they were in everything after that.
Yeah. They were, like, Wedding Crashers, and then, what was the other movie where they, like, went to go work for Google?
I know what you're talking about, but I remember seeing, like, advertisements for that movie, but I haven't seen it. Was it called, like, The IT Group or something like that? Or
yeah, it is something along
The Interview?
those.
No, that was the North Korea one.
Yeah, that was another good one.
They threatened North Korea threatened to blow everybody up if they screened it or whatever.
Yeah. And wasn't it like after that PlayStation released it for free?
Yeah, I think so.
The PlayStation
yeah,
store?
they were like, "Go fuck yourself. Here's the movie for free."
The Japanese like, "Oh, fuck are you?"
Fuck are you? Chimichanga. You don't bring honor to the PlayStation. So, I'm so sorry. That was uncalled for. Look, if they could do it on fucking South Park,
Yeah.
I can do it on my shitty little podcast.
You're gonna get Shane Gillis.
Yeah, well, whatever. You know, I looked up because I didn't know what got him in trouble.
No.
I looked it up, and because I remember reading they were
It
like
was Bobby Lee's podcast, wasn't it?
No, I think it was his podcast. It was the first episode of his podcast that they had
Matt
ever
and Shane?
videotaped. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like he had just released that when he got this Saturday Night Live gig, and he was like, man, if they go and see that, and he's like, I'm fucked. And sure enough, yeah, I think he said like he got a call and his like agent was like, did you fucking say such and such on your podcast? He was like, yeah. But yeah, so I went and looked up the scene or not the scene, but the little bit. Or even it's not even a bit. It's just something he said in passing.
Yeah.
And he got canceled for that. And I was like, it's so innocuous. Like it's so inoffensive to even Asian people. I would assume. I was like, I feel like the only people who got offended by it were liberal white women.
Yeah, they're always the ones
at
that
the
get
behest of the poor minorities who don't know what to be upset about.
Well, it's always the liberal white women that get upset with
always
something for someone else's sake.
I know what's best for you.
Yeah. This is like, you're too stupid to figure it out, so I'm going to let you know that you should be upset.
Yeah. Yeah, but I couldn't believe that was what got him in trouble. I was like, "What? Really? That?"
Yeah.
I was like, people have done and said worse and not got canceled for it.
Like, out of all, like, the current comedians, I think he's probably my favorite right now.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
just like, his delivery. Like, he's just up there talking shit. Like, I don't know what it is.
He reminds me so much of, like, the people I used to hang out with in high school. It's almost nostalgic to listen to him talk. Yeah, and he just, I don't know. I feel like Shane Gillis is also like, he's the same every time you see him.
Right.
Like, anytime he's on a show or he's on a podcast or he's on doing stand-up, he's always the same dude.
Right.
He's just a dude.
Right.
You know? I think that's what I like about him so much. And I feel like I see him everywhere. And the interesting thing is, usually when their star rises like that and I start seeing them everywhere, I kind of get sick of seeing them everywhere.
Right.
But him, not so much. I enjoy everything he's done so far.
Well, I think, like, for him, it's sort of just, like, organic. Like, people are enjoying his content.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't think it's really, like, him pushing it.
It's not being forced.
Right.
Yeah, there's not a cabal of Jews pushing it on everybody, like Taylor Swift. That was one of my favorite things when the Super Bowl was happening, was all the people on Twitter who were saying that Taylor Swift is being pushed into the NFL by Jews. I was like, okay, it might be that, or it could be that she's popular, and she's dating the quarterback of one of the teams in the fucking Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, she's been popular since I was in fucking high school.
She's not recently popular.
Yeah.
She's been popular.
Yeah, she's been popular since I was in fucking high school.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, this is not anything new. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Like, I don't even listen to that kind of music, and I know that she's fucking popular.
It's one of the funniest things on Twitter is, like, it is the things that get blamed on Jewish people by these fucking crackpots. There was one recently that really cracked me up. What was it? It was the Jews had lasers, and they were using them to burn houses in Texas and Hawaii.
Okay.
And only people who painted their roofs blue would have their houses
like a Star of David on the top of it.
Yeah, like Passover. You take a palm frond and you rub lamb's blood over the lintel of your door, except there's blue paint on your roof. And I was just like, or it could be that Texas has had one of those driest, most arid seasons. It's hot in Texas and there's no water. Yeah. But could be that. Or it's Jew lasers. I don't know. At this point, what could it be?
Well, I do know that, like, after the New York thing, they're like, not a good look.
No.
It's not.
It didn't help.
When you've got the Jewish guy coming up through a sewer grate.
Yeah, that didn't help. That didn't help things. But yeah, it's crazy what people will, and I think it's in earnest. I honestly can't tell if any of it's a shit post or not. I mean, I think people really, like I said, okay, at this point it's hard to say.
Yeah. Because
so many conspiracies are turning out to be fucking true.
Right.
And so it's like so then it's like, okay, well, 3 or 4, if 4 out of 5 conspiracies turn out to be true, then like the 6th or 7th conspiracy that these people believe in, they're looking at them now like, the Jew laser might be real. Right.
Well, it's like that guy. There was a guy that was on Twitter that was like, I can hear him in the walls.
Yeah. And he said, I can hear Yiddish through my floorboards, or something like that. They're speaking Yiddish in the walls. You know that guy, when he saw that Jew crawl out of the sewer grate, he probably stood up and was like, oh! He couldn't fucking believe it. I don't know. Here's what I think. I think that if the Jews were in control of everything, they'd be having a little bit easier of a time with things.
You think?
That's kind of where I land on it. And I think if they really controlled the world, it wouldn't be quite so difficult.
Right. Especially for them.
Especially, yeah, least of all for them.
I don't think they'd be fighting the same people for the past fucking 70 years.
Yeah.
I think they would have took care of that a long time ago.
Speaking of horrible shit happening across the world, did you hear about that terrorist attack in Russia last night?
Yeah, I saw like a picture, but I didn't read about it. I heard that they tried to blame it on Ukraine, and then ISIS was like, "No, we did it.
We did it." Yeah.
They're just like any terrorist shit that happens.
Anything that happens, they're like, that was us. Yeah, we did that. You know, so I saw the videos of it. A lot of that stuff has been scrubbed.
Yeah.
But people were posting it as it was happening, and so I saw a lot of videos, and it's just fucking, it's heinous, some of the shit that went on. But you know, ISIS, like you said, ISIS has claimed responsibility for it, and they've been radio silent for the past like 8 years.
Yeah,
it's been a long time
from them.
And one of the news outlets had broke the headline that ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack, and somebody quoted that tweet with a picture of Poe Dameron and said, "Somehow ISIS returned." Like somehow Palpatine has returned.
Some people, so I saw that, and then I saw some people trying to blame it on the Chechens
and Ukrainians. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of information being spread around right now about that thing, which of course is going to be the case. One of the most interesting things I've seen is a lot of videos have been posted from Russian accounts of prisoners being interrogated, like people they captured and are interrogating. They say Russia found one of the terrorists who committed the attack at the concert hall, and they are interrogating them and yada yada. And I was like, well, it seems really unlikely that they would find the guy a day after,
right,
and interrogate him and record it and put it on Twitter.
Right.
That seems very unlikely. That doesn't seem like the kind of...
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
That doesn't seem like the sequence of events that would happen if they had captured a guy. I mean, I'm basing this off of what I feel the United States would do. I feel like if they captured a guy, there'd be a lot of processing, and then we'd find out about it several months down the road, not the day after. Right. And it was like one guy... A video like, oh, they captured this one guy that did it, and then like 2 or 3 more videos came up. We captured these people who did it too. Right. And I was like, there's no way you caught all those dudes. Right. There's no way.
Well, I mean, you would imagine that the people that went in to commit that probably knew full well that they're not making it out of here. Yeah. Like they probably did a suicide pact.
Yeah. There's a lot of explosions. Right. From what I understand, it was 4 individuals. They were live streaming it while they were doing it, and they were obviously Arab, or Muslim or whatever, and they were doing the finger in the air and the, all that. So clearly, Muslims, Islamic terrorists is what it was. Is who did it? I saw them do it. They filmed themselves do it. They uploaded it. I saw it. But I think it's very unlikely that they found the guys. Yeah. If there were guys to be found. Right. Like I said, it's very unlikely that they didn't die in some kind of suicide bomb or whatever.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that they probably still have a bone to pick with Russia, because Russia went down there into Afghanistan.
They wanted Afghanistan real bad. Yeah. Really bad.
And then the CIA started arming
the Mujahideen.
The Mujahideen.
Yeah.
With like javelin missiles. And they're like, no way this will backfire.
Yeah. It'd be like if you strapped a bunch of guns to a dog and just like let it out. Yeah. Like, that won't be a problem for everyone
like,
later.
Gave it like an AK-47 to like a chump.
To a chimpanzee. Yeah. Oh, don't worry. He'll only fight our enemies. I think the first Rambo movie has a slide at the end of the movie that says, this movie is dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters in Afghanistan.
It's so wild.
And it's like, whoa, that didn't age very well.
It's so wild to like go back and look at that stuff because you're just like
knowing what came after. Yeah.
Like this does not turn out well for anybody involved here.
So, all that to say, just be wary of misinformation. There's going to be a lot of it. It's already a lot of it coming out.
Well, it's sort of like when Russia started fighting with Ukraine, and they had the was it the Ghost of Kiev?
Yeah, the Ghost of Kiev and everything. What the fuck are you people talking about? Yeah, this is not fucking Star Wars. That's something that's really irritated me about this whole conflict over there. Is just how people have likened it to pop culture so much.
Yeah,
it's not fucking pop culture.
Right.
This isn't Michael Jackson dangling his baby off the balcony. Yeah. This isn't Britney Spears dating fucking Kevin Federline. I mean, this is a war.
Yeah, all it is just these people that pop benzodiazepines and sit down and watch MSNBC.
Yeah,
and they just. It's just TV for them.
The issue is that it's far away.
Right.
The issue is that it's far away. If something like that were to happen here, I don't know how they would react to it. I think they would still kind of maintain the kind of like righteous aloofness about it that they do.
Right.
There's a and I hate to bring up Twitter so many times, but I mean this is where I'm seeing this stuff at. There's an account on Twitter that posts videos of Ukraine committing war crimes. Not that fucking means anything, because ever since October, Israel's been doing the same shit right in front of everybody, and no one's done anything about it. But they keep posting these videos of them, the drone footage, right?
Yeah.
Where they have like the little quadcopter drones and they'll like drop a fucking like artillery shell on a dude who's laying in the dirt dying.
No.
And it's like, it's a war crime to engage a soldier that is incapacitated.
Right.
And they just record themselves do it and they upload it. Everybody's like, yay!
Yeah, yay!
Good job. Slava Ukraini, whatever. Yeah. Blow that guy up. And one video I saw was this dude who's just fucking mangled. He's mangled. He looks like, I don't know, like Cerberus got a hold of him and just like shook him for a while. He's all broken.
Yeah.
And he's laying there and he's in the throes of death, and some Ukrainian dropped a bomb on him. Not even on him, like next to him. And everybody was like, "Yay, he deserved that." What the fuck?
The fuck is wrong with
What
these
is
people?
wrong with you fucking people?
Well, it's like you've got people like on that side that just fucking the fervor with which they hate the Russian people, the bloodlust. And then like on the other side, you've got like all the other people that are just like, we don't give a fuck what Israel does.
Yeah.
And it's just like, fuck them all.
A lot of overlap between those groups.
Yeah. But they both hate one another.
Yeah.
It's like the people that support like Israel hate the people that support Ukraine.
Yeah.
And the people that support Ukraine hate the people that support Israel. And it's like they love to be like, well, we should kill more of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, but you understand that like you're going to be sending like the poor people from over here, to go fight over there.
It's going to be our people spilling blood over there. One of the most irritating things to me about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is the fact that people think you can't both sides that argument.
Right.
You absolutely can.
Right.
You know how I know that you can? Because I saw what Hamas did on October 7th, and I saw how the Palestinian populace reacted to it.
Right.
I saw how people on Twitter reacted to it. They were celebrating. Right. They were celebrating the slaughter of civilians, the rape of civilians, the kidnapping of civilians. You were celebrating that shit. Okay? Well, ever since October 7th,
right.
I've seen Israel blow up children and bomb hospitals and schools and refugee camps. And I mean, I've seen people celebrate that.
Right.
I'm sorry, but you are not objectively the good guy if you blow up a child
Right.
and then celebrate that.
Right.
Yes, you're not.
You're a fucking asshole.
It's like, you're not. I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, all that's going on over there between those people,
That's got nothing to do
that's got nothing
with us over
to
here.
do with me. That has nothing to do with me. That is an insane bloodlust holy war that is happening, and nothing that I say or do is ever going to affect it and stop it or anything.
This has been happening since the Crusades.
Yeah.
Like prior to the turn of the first millennia.
Yeah.
Like
it's been happening since
the Knights
fucking
of
forever.
the Templar.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's written into their fucking religious texts.
Right.
That is how far back this conflict goes. And it doesn't even matter the geographical location of it.
No.
If that shit was happening on the border of fucking Georgia and Florida.
Right.
I mean, no matter where those people are, if they're near each other, they're gonna try and kill each other.
Right.
And that makes them both the bad guy, in my opinion.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
Well, that's what somebody was trying to argue the other day. They were like, "Well, what about all the Holy Land over there?" I was like, "I don't give a fuck about any of that."
What are you talking
It's
about?
like, I care about the people over here in the United States. I don't give a fuck about that over there. I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care.
I don't care.
I don't fucking care. I don't think that we should be sending poor people from the United States to go die in the fucking desert.
Yeah. For nothing.
For fucking nothing.
For fucking nothing.
What? So fucking Lockheed can get a fucking a 1.2% increase on their daily fucking stock evaluation?
Yeah, so they can keep having their ass wide shut parties and fucking our children that they sex trafficked?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things that keep happening?
Yeah, those things. Wow, we really got into politics hard. Sorry, guys.
Let's turn it around here. Did you see? I was going to talk with you about. Did you see I guess it's politics adjacent, but the thing on Steam with the Sweet Baby Ink.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's a lot going on with that.
Yeah.
Surprising amount of government influence in that one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for a quick little second. So, kind of where to start with this? Okay, so there was a thing that happened several years ago, probably about 10 years ago. It's been a minute. You probably heard of it. It's called Gamergate.
Yeah.
And really all that was, it's hard to condense that down into like a bite-sized thing, but really what Gamergate was a bunch of liberal game journalists getting bullied by fucking people on the internet. And it got so out of control that the United Nations got involved.
Wasn't there something like with a pizza shop at some point? It kind of went off the rails, didn't it?
You're thinking about Pizzagate.
Oh, Pizzagate.
Pizzagate was a separate thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Pizzagate was a separate thing. But Gamergate, of course, just to play on Watergate, right?
No.
Was basically, we don't like we don't like women, getting preferential treatment in game development and all these other things.
No.
And we don't like all this like liberal ideology that's being fucking shoehorned into our hobby.
No.
And so there was a little bit of pushback against that. And Anita Sarkeesian and all these other fucking people, all these liberal white women, fucking shocker, got upset about it. That they didn't like that they were getting pushback for all the shit they were doing.
No.
There's all kind of videos on YouTube you can go watch if you're interested in it. It's not interesting, but it is there. So all that occurred and kind of fizzled out. Well, they're calling this Gamergate 2. And what it is, it's kind of more of the same thing.
No.
There's a narrative consultation company called Sweet Baby Inc. And their whole thing is they work with people who are drafting narratives for video games, like your storyline for your video game. And they consult those people and they help them make sure that they are accurately depicting persons of color, marginalized groups, yada, yada, yada. Stuff that's very important to developing a video game. I don't know how the fuck they managed to make video games before Sweet Baby Inc. came along. But thank God they're here now. Well, people were wondering, like if people finally started to catch on that Sweet Baby Inc. was like behind a lot of all this fucking, I'm just going to call it what it is, woke garbage in their fucking video games that they were sick of seeing.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck is this shit? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so pervasive. Well, they found out there was Sweet Baby Inc. behind it. Okay. So there's one guy from Brazil, a Latinx.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
they hate.
The people in that community hate that fucking
They hate
word.
that shit. And all it is fucking liberal white women deciding what's best for them, right? More of that. This guy in Brazil, he makes a curator tool on Steam. And so what Steam's an online platform where you buy video games from if you play on computer or on PC. It's like a video game store on your computer. It's all it is. It's just like, hey, it's an intermediary, right?
Right.
Between the game developer and the purchaser.
But they have like forums and stuff where you can get on and like
it's
talk
more than
about,
that, but its express purpose is to buy video games. So, but there's all these different things that, people can make called curator lists where like, I want to see games made by such and such company, or I want to see games that involve this mechanic or yada yada, whatever. Well, this guy made one called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, and all it does is it pulls information from Sweet Baby Inc.'s own website about the games that they've worked on, and it lets you know whether or not Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on a game you're about to purchase. So if you don't want to purchase it because they worked on it, you have the freedom to do so.
Right.
Well, one thing led to another, and now the Department of Homeland Security is involved. And they're trying to make sure that gamers are not swayed toward extremist opinions. And it's just fucking unbelievable. It's just, I can't. Why is the government involved? Why can't I play a video game without being preached at? Why does the government have to get involved?
Oh, because they went
they read hard.
Yeah.
They read fucking hard. There was this one journalist, I think from Kotaku or whatever, who, by the way, went under this past week. That was great. Rest in peace, you won't be missed. She joined a Discord. She said she infiltrated a Discord. That's what she said. The reality is it was a public Discord and anyone could join it. And she got in there and she was trying to goad people into like interacting with her. Yeah. But people quickly figured out what she was and who she was and just didn't even bother talking to her. She was trying to get to the bottom of... She was trying to dox the guy who created that curator list, is what she was trying to do. But she failed, and then Kotaku failed, and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, all it is people don't like being preached at, and they were trying to avoid being preached at, and now the government is trying to make sure they're getting preached at. Kind of the short and skinny of it.
What type of fucking clown world timeline are we living in?
The honking doesn't stop.
The honkening.
The honkening. The honking won't stop. You wanted a clown world, now you get the honk. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know where this is all coming from, because a lot of it seems so unnecessary.
No.
A lot of like I hate calling it woke because that's kind of just like a catch-all term. But the thing is,
it's lost its meaning.
It's lost its meaning. But all of the woke shit that's in everything, it's so egregious when you see it.
Right.
It's so, it comes from really what it comes from is incompetent writers.
Right. Well, laziness.
And lazy writers who don't know how to write the demographic they're trying to represent.
Right.
All they're trying to do is check a box and get a paycheck.
Right.
That's all they're trying to do. And it's so funny to like see people talk about if Metroid came out today and people found out that Samus was a girl, they would call it woke. I'm like, no, they wouldn't. No. The mere existence of a girl is not woke.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a person with a pussy
you think there's gonna be the people like
like turn away from it like Nosferatu, like somebody opened up blinds. No, Samus works as a character because she's a silent protagonist and she's stoic, and that's cool. Right. And she's got a fucking cool robot suit of armor.
She's got a fucking cannon arm.
And she's a fucking badass. And she's fucking hot.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's why everybody likes those characters, and those characters work because that's what they are. She's a fucking space bounty hunter. Right. That's all she has to be. She's not a space bounty hunter in spite of the fact that she's a female.
Right.
That was never the point.
Right.
It had nothing to do. She just happened to be a female.
Right.
That's always the thing, right? If your character happens to be a female, that's fine. If they happen to be black, that's fine.
Right.
If it happens to be gay, whatever.
Right.
But if from his fucking inception, imagine if Superman, right? Every issue of Action Comics, when Superman was around, he always made it a point to make sure you knew that he was a heterosexual, cisgendered white man. He said it all the fucking time. You would get sick of that shit because it would be so disingenuous and it would be annoying.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of like other. It's like look at all of the different like GTA games. Like there's plenty of like African American representation in those games too, but it's not the entire time they're not like they're just not just like I'm in this game because I'm African American. Yeah. It's just that's the character that you're playing.
I'm in this game and I'm African American. Right. I'm not in this game because I'm African American.
Right. And like they write the story in a way that like it doesn't seem disingenuous.
Yeah.
It's like what was GTA, was it GTA 3? Was that the one San Andreas?
San Andreas was not GTA 3. That was
Los Santos?
There's one called GTA 3, but then San Andreas came out. It's just not numbered. I think San Andreas comes out. I think it's technically the fourth one in the series. Yeah. But GTA 4
was Liberty City, right?
Was Liberty City.
Right. And that was the one that had Nico.
It had Nico Bellic, yeah.
But I'm thinking of the one that was like right before that. But the protagonist in that game was a black guy. But it wasn't like...
Yeah. He didn't walk around saying he was black all the time. No. I see that you're black.
I see that you're black. Yeah. Like, I want to play the game.
Yeah. I see that you're in L.A. It makes sense for a black man to be there.
Yeah.
So it's... Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's plenty of like games.
There was a DLC for GTA 4 called The Ballad of Gay Tony. And Tony was a gay character. He was flamboyantly gay.
Yeah.
But that's just happened to be, that's who he was.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it's like I said, or it's like you said, it's like you can write those characters as long as it's in a genuine way and just like you're not being preached at the entire time.
It has to be genuine. The genuine aspect of it is really what kind of makes or breaks it.
Right.
Because, you know, like I watched did you see the Last of Us series on HBO Max?
Mm-mm.
I guess technically now it's just called Max. I've only played a little bit of the actual game. But there is an episode in that series that centers around two gay men and they fall in love and they have presumably butt sex and then one of them, then they both pass away or whatever. But the thing is, it's presented, to me, in my opinion, it's presented well because it's just a love story.
Right.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but gay people can fall in love. Right. It happens all the time. And I'm like, the writers never needed to make it to remind us every fucking scene that, hey, I'm gay. And the character didn't need to come out and say, I'm gay. They were just gay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It can be done well, and it can be done really, really badly.
Yeah, my thing is like, the push for it on like the left, like is fucking insufferable.
It's disingenuous,
but also
pandering.
But also the fucking nitpicking on the right is fucking insufferable too.
Yes,
I'm starting to get real fucking tired of that.
Yeah, it really is. Because now you're starting to become what the left says you are.
Exactly.
And that's really irritating. Because then everybody's just losing, fighting a fucking losing, a losing
It's
fight.
like everybody's losing ground here. Like we're not.
Yeah.
The fuck are we doing?
So you both are fighting And somehow both of you are losing. Yeah, I mean, people now are, they didn't used to be on the back foot about a female being the lead in anything. That wasn't the case. But now they are.
Right. Well,
because it's been pushed in their face so hard.
It's like Alien, Terminator, like I said, Lara Croft with Tomb Raider.
It's always, underrepresented groups. It's always, the representation that works the best for those underrepresented groups, okay? Like a female protagonist. Is always, a character who succeeds and also is such and such.
Right. But not in spite.
But not in spite of being such and such.
Right.
And it's like when people, maybe it's okay. How am I going to say this? When they're like, oh, the first black person to do such and such.
No.
Even though that particular thing has been done 1,000 times before. The way they talk about it is as if they managed to do that thing in spite of being black.
Right.
Like none of us thought you could do this.
Right.
But we're happy that you did.
Right.
And it was like, well, why did you think they couldn't do it?
Right. Well, I mean, anytime like I see something like that, I'm just like, well, why are you framing it like that?
Why are you framing it that way?
That
seems so racist.
Yeah, why are you framing it as if, oh, I didn't think a black person could do that?
I know. That's how it comes across to me. That's how it comes across to me.
To be honest, some of the most racist people I've met are like these super liberal people.
Yeah.
Like
the fucking horseshoe theory, man.
They're racist as fuck.
Yeah. The horseshoe theory is crazy.
Well, wasn't it, I think it was it Malcolm X, like, had a quote about, like, the white liberal, like, he's a fox, and, like, he's trying to con you.
Yeah.
I know that I probably just butchered that, but I think that's who that was, and I think that's sort of, like, the spirit in which it was said.
I think so. Well, I mean, you have to understand that white people and black people have very different experiences growing up in this country.
No.
That is a simple fact. And it
also changes from person to person.
Yes, and amongst those groups, it's different from person to person.
Right. Like, I remember when we were, one of my best friends, when I was in the Navy, we were sitting in the shop, and one of the guys, some other dude came in, and he goes, so what do the black people think about this?
Yeah.
And then my buddy was like, the fuck? he's speaking for all black people.
He's the emissary of all black people. Yeah.
Just like,
it's really funny because I've seen that happen before.
Right.
Where somebody just comes up to a black person and is like, hey, why do black people such and such?
Yeah.
Like, why would I know that?
Yeah. It's like, well, I don't know. I guess because you assume that all black people it's a monolith.
Yeah.
Like
a hive mind.
Like a hive mind.
Well, I'll just like converge into a single biomass. Like the fucking flood.
Oh, God. That kind of shit, like, anytime somebody does that, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Some of the most genuine relationships I've ever had with people, are with people who just want to be themselves.
Right. Not
people who want to be something in spite of themselves.
Right.
And it's kind of, I hope everybody understands what I mean by that. It's like I'm trying to think, who's a good example of a successful black person? I'm going to say Keith David. Keith David's one of my all-time favorite voice actors. He voices the Arbiter in Halo. He voices a lot of video game characters. He does a lot of voice work. He's one of my, like you said, one of my all-time favorite voice actors.
Right.
He's a very accomplished voice actor. Keith David would have been able to do that regardless of what color he was.
Right.
I am not dismissing the fact that as a black man, he probably had a very different experience life experience than if he were a white man, or if he were an Asian man, or if he were Hispanic, whatever. If he was the same man with the same voice and the same opinions and all that stuff, he still would have been able to do it. Not because he was white, not in spite of the fact that he was black, but because of his own merit and his own capability.
Right.
So when you congratulate a black person on something, you can congratulate them on their merit and their ability.
Right.
Not for the fact that they did it, even though they were black.
It would be like me complaining there's not enough like white people dunking in the NBA. Like, we need to lower the rim 2 feet.
Yeah.
Like this is totally unfair.
Unfair. Everyone else must suffer. Probably fucking look at Larry Bird.
Get out there fucking tearing it up.
I mean, tearing it up. Who's that fucking guy from Croatia or whatever? He plays for
Denver.
He's play for Denver?
There's two. There's Nikola Jokic.
I think Jokic is too. I'm thinking.
Yeah, which people say looks like he plays some flip flops. Because he's like a big gangly guy.
He is. He's very gangly.
He doesn't look athletic like
Slender Man.
And then there's like another guy, Luka Doncic, and he plays for Dallas, and like he's not athletic either.
Yeah, he's just tall.
He's not really even tall.
He's just tall
like,
and gangly.
He just kind of understands angles, I suppose. I don't know.
You can like see trigonometry in his head. But yeah, I mean, he's very successful. Very successful basketball
on his
players.
own merit because he's put in the work.
Yeah. He's not good at basketball despite not being black.
Right.
He's good at basketball because he's good at basketball.
Well, and it'd be like saying Kobe was good at basketball because he was black. No, Kobe was good at basketball because he worked his ass off.
Because he worked his ass off. Yeah. There might have been, there's some genetics that play here because all NBA players are like 7 foot taller.
Yeah, the taller you are.
Or taller.
Yeah, the taller you are, the better chance you have.
You have a more natural advantage. That makes sense.
Right. I mean, I think Kobe was like 6'5". He was like 6'5", 6'6".
It'd be like going up to Mike Tyson and telling him that the only reason you're good at boxing is because you're black.
Yeah, then you get punched in the face.
Have you ever seen how hard that motherfucker trains? Yeah. That man, I mean, go look at some of the videos of him training when he was 18 years old.
You know, he's supposed to be
busting his fucking ass.
He's supposed to be having a fight
with Jake Paul.
I saw
that. I don't think that's going to happen.
And apparently, like, there's some rules. Everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?"
You can't bite his ear.
Yeah, it's like Mike Tyson can't like punch him in the head
in a boxing match. No punching in the head.
Well, Mike can't punch him in the head.
Mike can't punch Jake Paul in the head?
Yeah.
Why not? Punch that motherfucker in the head.
Mike could be like, okay, let's punch him in the head anyway.
Yeah, or just fucking do body shots on him like he did that gang leader. You remember that? Or was that Muhammad Ali? No, that was Mike Tyson.
No, that was Mike Tyson. Yeah, he like chased him out of like a bodega in New York and just like beat the shit out of that guy.
No, he fought him in the ring, and because the guy was talking shit about Mike Tyson, and he was some kind of gang leader or something like that. I don't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, and then the guy came into a bodega that Mike was in New York, and then Mike took him out the street and beat the shit out of him out there.
After the fight?
Yeah,
like after their ring fight?
Months later.
Wow.
Beat his ass again.
I don't know if after that first bout with him, and all he did was punch me in the stomach 1,000 times. I don't think I would have fought him again. That fight is so funny. Mike is not going for the knockout. No. He is trying to hurt this man.
Yeah. It's so funny.
He's just punching him in the ribs and chest.
It's not funny.
Shit.
It's sad because like had Customato not passed away, and Mike wouldn't have been given like such shitty fucking management.
Yeah.
Like post that.
He really was taken advantage of. Yeah.
Like had he had somebody in his corner that like actually gave a fuck about him.
Right.
Like he could have rode that out for another fucking 7 years.
Yeah, for a long time. He was fucking scary. Prime Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah.
I think that I can't think of another person I want to fight less.
Yeah. Maybe I wouldn't want to fight him. I wouldn't want to fight Brock Lesnar.
Or Crow Cop.
Or fucking John Jones.
No, none of those fucking guys. I mean, I'd be scared to fight Ronda Rousey. Prime Ronda Rousey was fucking scary.
Yeah. The thing that got her fucked up was that everybody was saying, well, you can't knock anybody out. And she's like, oh, well, I'll show you. Yeah. And then she got fucking lit up.
Yeah.
And instead of just being like, no, I'm good at fucking
game.
takedowns and
takedowns.
fucking putting people in submission, and I will continue to
Wasn't she
fucking
like a
do
world
so.
champ at that?
Yeah, she's a world champion judo.
Yeah.
I
World
think she,
champ.
Yeah, she
No
was an
one was
Olympic
better.
gold medalist. Well, it's like George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
George St. Pierre never knocked anyone out. He'd take him to the ground and hump him for 3 rounds,
Yeah.
and then put him in a submission.
Yeah.
like the fights were super boring.
No win like a technical win.
Yeah. But you know what? He kept winning, so who gives a shit?
Yeah. But yeah, so like I think Mike Tyson is a perfect example of that. Mike Tyson is not as good as he is because he's a black man, and he's not as good as he is even though he's a black man.
Right.
He's as good as he is because he busted his fucking ass.
And that's what he was meant to do, was hurt people.
Yeah. Which he was going to do either way.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that
he did it in the ring.
They did in the ring. But I think that illustrates my point.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine going up to Mike and being like, wow, what an accomplishment, even though you're a black man.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck that mean?
I broke my back.
Spinal.
That fucking video. That video you sent me and Aaron. Wesley sent us this video. This guy, this fucking naked dude, he's like in the middle of traffic and he's acting all crazy. He's like standing in front of this guy's car and he's acting all crazy in front of the car. Well, this dude comes up behind him.
It's like
a fucking golf club or something.
Like a copper pipe.
And like both hands, like all the way from around the back of his head, whacks this guy right in the kidneys. And the dude falls to the ground. All of a sudden, he's not crazy anymore. All of a sudden, he's very lucid. And Wesley said it, and he said spinal. And of course, that's in reference to that Mike Tyson video.
That made me laugh so hard when I saw that video because the dude he snaps right out of it.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, baby, I'm not that crazy."
Because the guy about got him again because the guy was on the ground.
Yeah, scrambling away.
He whacked it and he hit the pavement next to him.
He hit that guy so fucking hard. Oh, man. It just would be like a white light flashed through his whole body. right in the kidneys.
It's like you ever see somebody get hit in the back and they go...
And they... like that. That natural, like, that like, T-Rex reaction, or whatever that is. You know that Mike Tyson interview clip where he's talking about his back being broken?
No.
He actually had a broken.
He did have a broken back.
He went into that fight with an actual broken back, and he's standing there doing that interview. I broke my back, and the guy's like, "What?" He's like, "My back is broken, spinal." And out of context, you're like, "Oh, what is he talking about?" He had an actual fucking broke back the whole time. Imagine getting into a fight with a guy who beat your ass and his back was broke the whole time.
He has a broken back. And you are also a professional fighter.
Yeah.
There's you'd imagine somebody even people who aren't Mike Tyson that are professional boxers, they would beat the shit out of anyone else.
Yeah.
But there's this one guy who is so much better than everyone else.
Right. I think they said that he had an 18-inch neck.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
When he was in his prime. Did you ever see those videos of him working his neck out where he's rolling his head on the floor or whatever? Mm-hmm. I mean, and you're probably, if you don't know, what knocks you out when you get punched in the head is that quick jerk of your head twisting to the side. But if you have an 18-inch fucking neck, it's real hard to fucking hit somebody hard enough that twists.
Yeah.
It'd be like punching a tree stump. It's just not going to move.
You remember a few years, or it might have more than a few years ago now, there was that picture of that guy is a black guy.
Oh, with that crazy big neck.
That crazy fucking neck.
Yeah. You know what was so weird about that is he wasn't that big of a dude.
No.
He just had a weirdly big neck.
Because it was right around Christmas, and then somebody put a Santa hat on him and called him Saint Nicholas.
Oh, God, people are so clever. While we're on the topic of black people, let's talk about our Super Cringe Thursday post. It was
Chihuahua.
Wowee.
I don't. Where do you start?
Where do you start? So this particular lady, her name is Sexy Red. She had, I don't know if she's as popular right now, but she definitely had a very popular like stint. Like she had a meteoric rise, as a lot of them do these days.
No.
Them being artists, not just black people. I'm trying to ease off of that previous conversation.
Well, I think like the SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah. This particular video, I couldn't tell you the title of the song, but it's filmed in front of a Popeye's chicken. Now,
there's a FedEx truck in the background.
What was there?
Yeah.
Okay. She is talking about the same thing that all female rappers talk about, how good their pussy is.
Yeah. My favorite line was it, my coochie pink, yo coochie stink.
There's something about your cum being green.
Yeah,
What? Ugh, what? Ugh.
And then the other lady at the end talks about she wants to.
She said, "Call Joe Biden. I want to suck on the president."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Biden?
Yeah.
You want to suck Biden?
That's what you want to do.
I think you're about 30 years too late. I don't think he's interested in you anymore. Anyway, the whole thing is just fucking gross. It's ratchet and it's nasty, and it's really interesting to think about the fact that somebody would just watch that video and listen to that music and say, "Hey, I like this."
Somebody's like, not bad.
Yeah, like, oh, this is really, hey. Like the guy from South Park, the big like tycoon guy or whatever. I don't know. To me, from the outside looking in, obviously I'm not the targeted demographic for this music.
Right.
Neither is Wesley. But for us, in our opinion, I think that it really kind of sets women back a little bit.
I think so.
Just a little bit.
I don't think that's what they had in mind when they had the suffrage movement.
The suffragette movie, yeah. I said I wish I could go back in time and show this to the suffragettes. There was another one. A similar video that was going around. I don't remember. I was going around on Twitter for a little while. The general consensus was that it was really cringe. But it was two black female rappers, and they were rapping their music video while running through the aisles of a grocery store.
Like a Piggly Wiggly?
Yeah, like in a Piggly Wiggly, yeah. And that was their music video. Like they were doing I'll see if I can find it and show it to you. It's a very bizarre looking video. But it wasn't like a music video they shot. Like they obviously didn't like rent out this Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, they just went in
or
there.
come in after hours or something. They went in during like noon on a Tuesday and did this shit. And so like there's all these like just like rural white people in the background, like it's just
what
like
the fuck is this?
just looking at them like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. I mean, there's something that, there's something a little bit admirable about doing that kind of a thing when in front of all these people, like you just don't care. You don't. There's something to be admired about that, like having so little scruple.
so little scruples. I just don't. And I think that, and there's also like white female rappers that do the same fucking thing.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck is that? What's up with that?
It's all female rappers. It doesn't matter if they're black or white. All they ever sing about is their vaginas.
Like who was wasn't there like a white female rapper years ago from like Australia or Wales or something?
Wales?
I don't bruv.
Are you talking about Iggy Azalea?
Yeah.
She did something that got caught a lot of flack. Was it she tried to scat or something like that? What was that?
Try to poop on somebody?
No. No. Well, maybe, I don't know. But she was trying to scat like skibbity booty bowdy boo, like that kind of thing. She did something and it sounded really fucking terrible. And
like Jonathan Davis.
Maybe not. It's interesting that you went to Jonathan Davis. I was thinking like Scat Man.
He scats. He's like...
Is that scat? Well, yeah, I guess that is scat.
He's scatting in like the middle of a new metal song.
I wonder if
he does a lot of scatting.
He does. I never would have considered it scatting. But yeah, I
maybe
guess
like next time he should like go up like in a zoot suit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was really cringy. I'll have to find it. Maybe it'll be our super cringe post coming up soon. But yes, I don't think I've ever listened to a song by a female rapper that was thought-provoking or had a good message.
Like, let's go clean up our neighborhood.
No, nothing quite like that. To be fair, there isn't a whole lot of that in the male rapper
not a lot of that
side
going on
of things. But maybe that's not for me to say. I don't particularly listen to that music all that often. But yeah,
well, I mean, in our kind of music, there's not a whole lot of good stuff going on over there.
That's true.
Either,
that's entirely true.
It's not like you listen to a Cannibal Corpse song.
It's just not as explicit, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they use epitaphs and entendres and things like that. They don't just outright say that my cum is green.
Yeah. Unless you're listening to Disturbed and there's that whole part at the end of...
Oh, yeah, where he's just yelling at his mom.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, what is this?
Like, way to ruin the song, man.
Yeah.
This was a cool song right up until you did that.
I think we've talked about it before. Like all the other people in the band are like,
what the fuck is this?
What the fuck is...
Yeah.
He's like, no, just keep...
Yeah, keep the bridge going. I got an idea. Fuck you, Bobby. I still love Bev and Bob's rendition. Why do you have to be such a bitch? Why don't you back off and die?
Like Mr. Mac. Okay.
I think we talked. Yeah, they were one of our Super Friends Thursday posts thing a while back. Yeah,
I've seen some other videos from them recently.
They're so fucking funny, man. I wish that they would lean into the meme.
Yeah.
And like pitch a show for Adult Swim, because that would be such a good like bumper in between like episodes of like Robot Chicken and like Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute.
Oh yeah, everyone would love it.
Oh yeah,
they could pick up a fucking block. I would tell you what I would watch. I'd watch a Bev and Bob movie. I don't think anything would make me happier.
This is like a musical. There's them, and then there's like
in my head I was thinking them singing fucking Memories from Cats.
There's those two, and there's like another one, and it's like this like 50-year-old like fat greasy guy.
Yeah.
And like they do like a lot of butt rock songs.
Really?
So
yeah.
He does like Lips of an Angel, of course, as is tradition.
The quintessential butt rock song.
And then he's got like some like Breaking Benjamin songs that he does, where he's like doing hand gestures at like his like very old looking wife.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I've seen that before.
Yeah.
They were one of our super
were
crazy.
they?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it was Lips of an Angel was the one we posted.
There you go.
Yeah, because they're like lip syncing.
Yes.
Along to it. They're not singing like Bev and Bob did.
No.
But like they're not lip syncing very good.
No.
Like
they're keeping the flame alive though, so good for them.
The Lips of an Angel one is so fucking funny because they're like in like their double wide with just like fucking clothes and shit all piled up in the background. And like the lights are not turned on.
He's just wearing like this stained
denim jacket or whatever. And she is wearing like Party City Angel wings. And she's got no teeth in her fucking head. And her version of mouthing the lyrics is literally just opening and closing her mouth. She's not. She's gang, 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 gang.
You know, like when old people they lose all their teeth,
Yeah.
their bottom chin goes up.
Chin goes up to their nose. Like an old prospector. Oh my god. Those two, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, those two have a lot of videos.
they do.
All like that. All of them are like that.
They're all butt rock.
Yeah, they are all butt rock. And the interesting thing about it is, they're another one of those instances where the comments are turned off, and that, like I said, that tells me that you take it seriously.
Right.
Which you don't need to.
Right.
You shouldn't be taking it seriously
at all. That should be the opposite of what it is that you're doing.
A little bit of public critique would do you guys a lot of good. Oh, man.
Yeah, my favorite is just finding, like, people like that. And like you said, there's always, like a denim vest.
Yeah.
Like, what is up with, like... Okay, so... Like the old school, like thrash metal heads, still have these fucking denim vests.
Oh, like patches all over
patches all over them.
Yeah, because that's kind of also like a punk rock thing.
What the fuck? What is that?
Punk rocks do that too. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Where did that start?
I don't know who to attribute it to. I don't know if that was like thrash metal first, or if it was. Well, you know, rock and roll kind of had that too. Rock and roll, that was the look for in the rock and roll scene. I don't know who started it. I don't know if it was punk rock, if it was rock and roll. I don't know if it was
thrash
metal. It had to have
been like an underground thing.
Yeah,
I think
so.
Out. Like, I don't... That's too fucking weird.
Yeah.
For like, I don't know, like Motley Crue.
Yeah.
To be like, we're selling denim vests with patches on them.
Patches on them.
I mean, nowadays, they probably would do that.
Yeah. Vince Meal.
Yeah, Vince Meal.
Jumpstart my heart.
That's still one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. Is him up there, huffing and puffing around stage.
Oh, I don't know. I think we just posted that video. I don't know if it was ever a Super Cringe Thursday, but yeah, that video of them coming back, like was it like a reunion tour?
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
I think it was like a reunion.
But they were playing "Kickstart My Heart," and like it didn't look like they had like Vince himself had rehearsed this whatsoever. Like he woke up an hour ago and didn't brush his teeth, drank a Coca-Cola, and came out on stage and tried to perform that fucking song, and he couldn't fucking hack it, man. It's so bad.
There was like one part where I swear he's like doubled over.
Yeah, like his hands on his knees.
It'd have been so much better if he'd laid down on the ground and just like started singing into the microphone.
Like belly, he's just like rising and falling. His fucking guts hanging out of that shirt. His leather vest didn't come all the way around. It like stopped at his armpits. Didn't go any further than that.
You would imagine with them being as big of a band as they are, like they probably had somebody like wardrobe, like there must have been a wardrobe department.
Yeah.
And like people
who put that tiny ass leather vest on him and said, "Yeah, that looks good." Your gut just bursting forth.
They're like, "Man, you are still a sex symbol."
Yeah, still got it, Vince. Get out there and knock him dead.
Because you know that Slash are probably over there in his fucking top hat. Like, what the fuck is this?
That video is so funny because at the end, Vince tries to like hold out some long note, but his voice cracks and wavers really badly. And the camera pans over to fucking Slash, and he is cracking up laughing. Oh, terrible.
I wouldn't have been able to hold it. I'd been doubled over laughing.
Yeah, I would like, y'all gonna have to turn my in-ear monitor off or something. I can't listen to him do this. Well, it's also really funny, the juxtaposition of like him, because the camera keeps cutting back and forth between like these really sexy backup dancer women's and fucking Vince Neil. And it's just like, whoa, there's a huge disconnect here. And like the camera guy's like, I don't know who I need to show. He was like, because we can't keep watching Vince. He's like,
this is a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, I gotta pepper in some attractive women here every now and then. It's just like some sexy woman like throwing her hair, and she's got like the leather like thigh highs or whatever. Yeah. And it switches back to Vince, and he's old and fat and red and sweaty and stringy hair.
I just imagine like all these people that bought these tickets, and like this is the first showing, and they show up and they're like, "What is this?
Is this a joke? Is this an actual joke?
Am I being punked here? Like Ashton Kutcher's going to come out at some point? We're bringing this back around?
Yeah. Like, here comes the real Vince Neil. Hope you all enjoyed. You've watched Metalocalypse before, right? You know, I think it was Pickles the drummer. His like first band was called Snakes and Barrels or something like that. It was obviously like a Guns N' Roses knockoff or whatever. One of the episodes, like they had a reunion show, and they're all like old and fat and like they're just washed up or whatever. And they did that. What did they call that drug? Super psychedelic Milky Way chunk blow or something like that. I fucking love that show. One of my favorite characters on Metalocalypse is Dr. Roxo.
No.
Because he is a parody of Van Halen. And what would they call it? Zaz Blammy-Mataz is the name of his band. I fucking love that show. It's so good.
My favorite was the one where they went down to Mississippi
to learn how to play the blues.
To sell their soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Was it they meet Mashed Potato Johnson?
Mashed Potato Johnson. Hey, my name Mashed Potato Johnson. Yeah, they went to sign that contract with the devil, and they like scrutinized the contract really hard. And like the devil like ran away. He was like, "I'll talk to my people."
That was such a good show.
It was good. Did you ever see the final, the quote unquote final episode?
Mm-mm.
It was called like the Doomstar Requiem or something like that. Mm-mm. The whole episode's like a musical.
Yeah.
So it's like a rock ballad. It's really fucking good. So Brandon Small, of course, is the guy who made the show.
Yeah.
And he also did the music and everything like that. But all like the pieces of music that he composed for that episode it's all such good music. He did this one like guitar duel between Squizgar and Toki or whatever, and it's just like 8 minutes long, and it's just fucking badass. But yeah, he's Brandon Small, very talented, very very talented. Interestingly enough, also the guy that made Home Movies. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's two totally different
things.
Yeah. I mean, that is one of the things I really appreciated about like Adult Swim was they were just like whatever,
the variety, the variety of everything.
Right.
It was no show was like another show.
No. It's like you would watch like Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah.
And then
Futurama would come on.
And then Futurama, and then they roll right into death into Metalocalypse.
Yeah. And then you'd have like Robot Chicken would come on.
Right.
And then Super Jail. Just everything was totally different.
I did appreciate that Saturdays were like the anime one, and then like Sundays.
Yeah, they would. That's Toonami would come on, right?
Yeah, they had like the Toonami Adult Swim
kind of mix.
Where like we talked about, like you had like Yu Yu Hakusho. And you had like Cowboy Bebop, Gundam Wing. Like you had like the more adult versions that they weren't going to show
in the middle of the day. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Which is always nice because like you just had like weird fucking shows. Like you had like Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah, I fucking love Space Ghost.
And then what was it? It was Brack and
Brack. His cameraman was Moltar.
Yeah, Moltar was that. Was it Brack was like the one that had like the big red and black head, wasn't it?
Yeah. Moltar was the guy who wore like the heat suit.
Oh, yeah.
He was like the camera guy. And then they had the little like praying mantis dude that was like the keyboard guy or whatever.
And he was always shitting on Space Ghost.
He was like just a bastard. I like that one episode where they're like just kind of sitting around, nobody's really doing anything. Yeah. And he's like, "Hey, check this out. Every time I move my arm, it costs the Cartoon Network $40."
I mean, like, you had stuff like that, and then you had, like, Super Jail.
Yeah. Super Jail was a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, so that was later. But then you also had stuff like, Family Guy would come on, too.
Yeah.
It was just like a mishmash.
A mishmash of things, yeah. Not everything was a winner, though. Like 12-Ounce Mouse.
Oh, yeah.
One of the worst things I've ever seen. What about Xavier Renegade Angel? Do you ever watch that?
That sounds really familiar.
It was like that really weird, like esoteric, like 3D animation show. Excuse me.
Bless you.
He was like he was a metaphysical bounty hunter, and he had like brown fur all over him, and he had 6 nipples and long blonde hair and a bird beak and a snake arm, and he had a loincloth, and his legs faced the opposite direction, and he had sneakers on. And the whole show, the show is so interesting because if you go into it and you're like, if you go into it and you're like, somebody tells you need to watch Xavier Renegade Angel because it's funny.
Yeah.
And then you go into it expecting it to be funny, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because it's not funny in a normal sense. It's just bizarre.
Yeah.
And you have to laugh at the fact that it's so bizarre.
Right.
Yeah. There's a bunch of really good clips on YouTube, like the one where he walks into the sports store, and he has to steal like all these footballs, and he goes, how am I going to distract all these people? And he's thinking to himself in his head, and he says sports, and sports like echoes, sports, and he says sports out loud, and all the people in the store are like, yeah, sports. It's just dumb shit like that. It's so funny. It's like a fever dream of a show.
Yeah, they always had, like you said, it's like not everything was a winner. It's like even there was some Awkward in the Hunger Force episodes where I'm like, this one's a miss.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were like fucking off the wall funny.
Yeah. I love all this shit where they're fucking with Carl.
Yeah, any episode had Carl in it.
Yeah. Where Carl was getting married to that, what was it, like that mail order bride or whatever, yeah. And Frylock was officiating, and he was like, hey, do you, Carl, what's your last name? And Carl was like, it don't matter. He's like, it don't matter. None of this matters. Oh man.
Oh, there was that one, and there was Squidbillies.
Squidbillies. Squidbillies was a miss for me. Like I couldn't get into it. I think it was too gross.
Yeah.
Squidbillies
made me laugh because I knew some people that acted like Squidbillies.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a particular name that popped into my head. I won't say it out loud, but yeah, I would imagine it is the same guy.
Because it's just like I watched him, like I know exactly who this.
I know who this is. I go to school with this guy. Come math class with this guy. Well, I think that's about all we got time for today, everybody. We want to apologize from the bottom of our heart for missing. When you hear this, it'll be last week's episode.
I thought you were about to say we had a I'm sorry.
Oh wait, we did. What was it? Oh, it was from Aaron. I don't know if it really counts as an I'm sorry, but we were trying to remember what Mom's car was.
Oh,
it was a Freestyle.
A
Ford Freestyle.
See, I knew it was something that they don't make anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, here's the soundbite.
We're sorry.
There you go. But yeah, we are sorry for missing last week's upload. We're going to try and do a double next week. The following week. So I'm trying to think. Right now it's Saturday, but when you hear this, it'll be Tuesday. So next week, we'll do a double upload to make up for it, because that second episode will be episode 99. This episode, no wait, hang on.
This is episode 98, right?
What you're listening to is episode 98. So then...
Next episode will be 99.
The next episode will be 99. Okay, so we're going to try and release 2 episodes in time for the episode 100 to be on, here's the date and time, April 13th at 2 p.m.
Wait, if the next one's 99 and then our next one will be April 13th, that'll be episode 100.
No, the next one's episode... This is episode 98.
Yes, the next one will be 99.
The next one will be at 99.
And if we do 2 of them, then the second episode that we release will be episode 100.
Oh, fuck.
So then our live show will be 101. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right. None of this matters.
None of this matters. Okay, here's the point. The point is, episode 100, our live streamed episode, will be Saturday, April 13th at 2 p.m.
Yeah.
I guess that's Eastern. Are we Eastern Standard Time?
Yes, Eastern Standard Time.
So that is going to be when the live episode takes place. It will be on YouTube, of course. That's where we're going to be live streaming from. So we'll make more posts as we encroach on that time or on that date. There's going to be 2 weeks of downtime between episode 99 and episode 100 going up, and that's to give us time to get everything set up. We got some equipment, a little bit more equipment we're trying to get a hold of for the show, for the live stream, and just make sure everything runs well and it works and yada yada. Because I would imagine it's going to take a little bit of doing to get it to work right. But yes, April 13th, Saturday, April 13th at 2 p.m. That is when the Thicc Bois live episode will be, episode 100. So we're going to live stream it on YouTube, but at the same time, we're also going to record the audio tracks as we normally would. Yep. And then we will still release episode 100 in the regular podcast style the following Tuesday.
Right.
So it'll be kind of business as usual. It's just you guys will basically be seeing us live as we record episode 100 for Tuesday's release. It's kind of how it'll be. But I'm excited for it. I think Wes is excited for it. Yep. We're going to have, are we calling it a costume? We're going to dress a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think everybody will appreciate.
Yeah. Just stuff that we talk about.
Stuff that we've talked about.
Right.
Kind of our favorite era in time.
Yeah.
From when we were young lads. So hopefully that doesn't give too much away. But anyway, that is the date and time, and I'm very excited for it. So as we get closer to that coming around, we'll make posts on the Facebook page, and maybe in the interim we'll upload some different things and just be more active on the Facebook page to kind of keep everybody intrigued, I guess. So, in the meantime, thank you so much for listening. If we were wrong about anything, or if you have anything you'd like to correct us on, or anything you'd like us to talk about, or anything like that, you can reach out to us on the Facebook page, or you can email us at thickboypodcast@gmail.com. Wesley, do you have anything you'd like to close with?
Nope, just the usual. Thank you so much for the continued support. We look forward to doing the live stream here pretty soon. As always, if we're not on your preferred podcast platform, just let us know. The email's in the show notes, or you can hit us up on the Facebook page. I think we're pretty much everywhere, but if not, just let us know, and we'll try to see if we can get where you are or where you prefer to listen to your podcasts.
And I'm really close to getting all of our episodes up on YouTube. I think the last one I uploaded was episode 74.
Nice.
So we're almost there. We'll almost have an active YouTube channel. A couple of our episodes got hit with copyright strikes because some of the stuff that I stick in them in editing for like a little joke here and there. So I don't plan to stop doing that because I feel like a lot of it works in the podcast. Actually, it's okay to do it in like the actual podcast episode, but on YouTube, that stuff gets hit with copyright claims automatically. There's not really much I can do about it. But I'll try to avoid anything copyrighted going forward. But some stuff is just funny. Yeah. So
fuck them.
Fuck them. Well, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.
It don't matter. None of this matters.